Welcome back to my channel. Let's talk about different type of sex you should know about. How many types of sex have you had? Explore the different types of sex here and spice up your sex life as soon as possible. And of course, you'll be talking about sex in 20s, in 30s, and 40s. Throughout your life, the kind of sex you have depends a lot on your age. In your 20s, for instance, you will probably have a lot of fumbling sex because you don't have as much experience. And when you have had a sex few times, you will move on to having sex that is fun, exciting, and carefree. But in your 30s, the type of sex you have will depend on priorities. That's not to say that your sex life will get boring. But yes, you may have to work like work a little with your partner on keeping the spark alive. In your 30s, your sex will be about connecting with your partner, comforting each other, or to make babies. So let's talk about different types of sex to experience in your 20s. Type of sex in your 20s. Think back on your 20s and you will remember a time that was exciting and carefree. Your 20s are a decade where you go on a journey of self discovery, exploring your likes and dislikes along the way. You also tend to explore the sensual side of you and are big on sexual adventures. So, here are the 5 types of sex you may have had or we have in your 20s. It is complicated sex. Sometimes just so happens that you like someone and that person likes you back, but it never goes beyond the way you expected or wanted. You shout all days, hang out together, even end up having sex, but that's about it. Neither of you talk about a relationship, not dating. And you kind of sort relationship quickly takes the status of it is complicated. Then, of course, makeup sex. This is the kind of sex that has the potential to be extremely hot, and most couples in their 20s have had it at some point or another. You get into a fight and tend to solve the fight by getting naked afterwards. Yes, sex after a fight can be amazing, but also remember that it can confuse the both of you and sometimes even lead to a breakup or unresolved issues because you have to discuss what you have to resolve the crisis before having a makeup sex. Bad sex, that's another one. We say bad sex twice because the sex was so blah that even thinking about it makes you upset. It does nothing for you. You lose your self-esteem in the process and it leaves you drained and leaves a bad taste in your mouth. Not only can you forget about an orgasm, but the sex is also exceptionally awkward and you wonder why you did it in the first place. Did you just do that? Drunken sex. Raise your hands if you have ever had drunken sex. Yes, for many of us, our 20s were about getting wasted and having fun. Many of us have had drunk sex, and the hangover and the feeling of guilt in the morning has something we wouldn't want to think about or repeat. No, not to forget the stress of unwanted pregnancy or maybe having contracted an sexually transmitted infection is quite humongous. They can't get better than this sex. Then comes a day when you finally have the kind of sex that you will remember and cherish for a lifetime. You start believing that this was it. Sex cannot get better than this. You ride wave after wave of passion and orgasm and rainbows and stars. And when it's all done, you feel calm, sweet, and contented. So that's the kind of sex you have when you are in your 20s. See you in